Hello everyone. I hope you're all well. I wanted to continue on my Legend series, and today, for the first time, I'm actually giving a full-time wicket keeper. I've given a lot of great batsmen and bowlers, and there are still others left. But I thought I will definitely give a wicket keeper, and I couldn't not start with Rodney Marsh of Australia. He was born November 4th, 1947, in Western Australia. His full name was Rodney William Marsh, and he was one of the greatest wicket keepers of all time, without any doubt. I mean, he and Alan Knott and him played at the same time. Rodney Marsh for Australia, obviously, and Alan Knott also one of the greatest wicket keepers of all time, playing for England. I mean, they were two wicket keepers who really uh, kept the or set the standard and the yardstick for wicket keeping that obviously many great wicket keepers followed after that. I mean, like Adam Gilchrist or Mark Boucher, MS Dhoni, a lot of people. But they were the great ones in the 70s. And Rodney Marsh was very famous. I mean, he played first class cricket for Western Australia. He played all his first class cricket for Western Australia, and he did captain them, and he was a successful captain at Sheffield Shield as well. And he played 96 test matches, Rodney Marsh, and he scored more than 3,600 runs, and he scored 300s as well. And he had 355 dismissals as a wicketkeeper. That is his catches and his stumpings included. And that was a world record for a long time. And in one day matches, he played 92 one day matches, and he scored more than 1,200 runs, and he had 124 dismissals as a wicketkeeper as well, catches and stumping together. And in first class cricket, he scored more than 11,000 runs, and he scored 1200s, and he had 869 dismissals in first class cricket. I mean, stumpings and catches together. And Rodney Marsh was someone who had excellent footwork, like a fast movement with his foot as a wicketkeeper, and he really did anticipate the ball a lot well, and he was very acrobatic as well. And obviously, the famous partnership, Rodney Marsh and Dennis Lillee, will never be forgotten from Test cricket. I mean, they had an amazing partnership. Actually, Dennis Lillee and Rodney Marsh has a world record of 95 dismissals between them. I mean, the scoreboard reading caught Marsh, bowled Lillee 95 times, and that is a record still for any bowler keeper combination. And it's crazy. I mean, Dennis Lillee also finished his career with 355 test wickets, and Rodney Marsh also 355 dismissals as a keeper, stumpings, catches included. So that was a great coincidence for two great friends who had a great time together in the Australian team. And another thing, Dennis Lillee and Rodney Marsh made their test debut in the same series as well, and they also played their last test match together. I mean, the last test match was the same match together as well. So a lot of coincidences for Dennis Lillee and Rodney Marsh. And another thing, Wisden once said that there has never been a bowler keeper combination that has had such an impact on the game of cricket. They were talking about Rodney Marsh and Dennis Lillee's combination. And Rodney Marsh was very famous for uplifting the spirit and energy of the Australian team. There were many times where Australia were in bad positions in a cricket game, where Rodney Marsh would lift them, and he had a special energy about him that lifted the other team members. And he also would say probably a word to the batsman, or the opposition batsman, say something and probably disturb their concentration that Australia were famous for in the 70s, 80s, and even now. And to him, Australia credits a lot of victories to Rodney Marsh. I mean, many matches that Australia could have lost. It's that extra energy and excitement of Rodney Marsh and what he used to say to the batsman, and just geeing his team up. So Rodney Marsh doing a lot in that regard. But normally, wicket keepers are like the heartbeat of a cricket team. Or like if you have a Jonty Rhodes, obviously, like South Africa had, you are the heartbeat. But normally, wicket keepers set the tone for the team in a lot of sense, because he's the one who actually sees everything most clearly, and his energy and enthusiasm means a lot to a real cricket team. And Dennis Lillee and Rodney Marsh, I was saying about the 95 dismissals. Rodney Marsh towards then used to say that he had kept so much to Dennis Lillee, and they both from Western Australia as well. And towards then he used to say that when Dennis Lillee used to come running into bowl, and just the angle that he bowled, the angle that he ran into bowl, or the crease at the crease, the position of the crease that Dennis Lillee used to come. Rodney Marsh used to say that he already knows where Dennis Lillee was going to bowl the ball. That's how much he had that combination and that understanding with Dennis Lillee. Even like wicket keepers and spinners normally like Shane Warne, Gilchrist, Shane Warne, Ian Healy. So Dennis Lillee and Rodney Marsh had that great understanding, and Rodney Marsh said he could judge what Dennis Lillee was going to do even before he did because he had watched him so much. So that was something special about them as well. And Rodney Marsh, he did bat left-handed, by the way. And once in 1980-81, in a one-day match versus New Zealand, he scored 26 runs of the last over, bowled by Lance Keynes, who is actually Chris Keynes' father. He took 26 runs of the last over. He hit 3 sixes and 2 fours of that last over in 1980-81. So that was one place where Rodney Marsh really scored a lot of runs. He was a very useful low-order batsman. Probably Alan Knott of England was a better batsman than Rodney Marsh. And even they almost played same. I mean, Rodney Marsh played 96 Test matches. Alan Knott, I think he played exact 95 Test matches. But he had more runs and he had more centuries, and his average was also bigger than Rodney Marsh. But the wicket keeping wise, both you couldn't really choose much between both of them. Both were great wicket keepers. And Rodney Marsh's son, Daniel Marsh, captained the Tasmanian team in the absence of Ricky Ponting in the mid-2000s as well. So his son was also a good cricket player. And Rodney Marsh sadly died 2 years before, in 2022 he died. And actually it's really sad. He died on the same day as Shane Warne. Actually, Rodney Marsh died first, and Shane Warne had actually sent a tweet about Rodney Marsh, and like a tribute to Rodney Marsh. And it's just later that Shane Warne also died with a heart attack. Both of them had heart attacks, so it was one of the most painful days in a cricket, and especially for an Australian cricket. Shane Warne and Rodney Marsh, two of their absolute cricket legends, dying on the same day. That was a sad thing that happened. So that is my video on Rodney Marsh, who was definitely one of the greatest wicket keepers of all time. Just repeating that 95 dismissals that he has with the Dennis Lillee is a record still for any bowler keeper combination, and his 355 test dismissals was also a record for many years until it was broken. And Rodney Marsh has also helped a lot of upcoming keepers. And normally wicket keepers do share their expertise with a lot of opposition teams. Like, I mean, I've heard Mark Boucher has got a lot of tips from Ian Healy of Australia. And normally from batting or bowling wise, I mean, the old days probably they don't really share that much information, but wicket keepers have a code of understanding between them, and they normally help each other, especially if it's a senior wicket keeper and he sees a junior wicket keeper like Mark Boucher was when Ian Healy was there. And Ian Healy did pass on a lot of information and expertise to Mark Boucher, and that the trade. That's how they do, wicket keepers. They are famous for that. They do share a lot of their knowledge and understanding of the game. And normally wicket keepers are also good players of spin as well, because they do watch a lot of spin keeping, and they watch the hands of the spinner. So they normally a lot of wicket keepers are good players of spin. So anyway, that is my video on Rodney Marsh, one of the greatest wicket keepers of all time, and an Australian legend, and someone who was so popular in the 1970s, 80s for Australia, who formed that great partnership with Dennis Lillee. I hope you have enjoyed this video. Please take care, and God bless you.